heritage, and one day in the House of Commons he was asked, was it true that he was Irish? And he replied that just because one is born in a stable, that doesn't necessarily make one a horse. To which Daniel O'Connell promptly responded by saying no, but it could make one an ass. Continuing on up Chesterfield Avenue now, this area over here on your left is known as the 15 acres, devoted to sport of all kinds. If you remember, it was sports and social clubs, say in an office building or whatever, and you'd know where to play your football matches. Well, you can actually rent or hire a pitch here in the Phoenix Park. Further on up on the left, we're just approaching the Phoenix Park Cricket Club. Believe it or not, the cricket club here in the Phoenix Park successfully sued the German government for damages caused when a bomb landed in the middle of it during the Second World War. Now, the Phoenix Park used to be a hunting park, but they used to hunt deer and grouse. But of course that is no longer the case. The grouse have long since flown. But allowed to roam freely, somewhere over here on your left-hand side is a herd of fallow deer. Now, you'll just have to keep an eye out for them there, folks. I'm afraid the park is too busy for me to take my eye off the road. But they should be, they mightn't be. There is, as you can see, there's a concert on. There's a lot of people here in the park, so they mightn't be foremost to the front today. But also I want you to keep looking diagonally to your left and you'll soon see a big white cross. This cross marks the spot where the altar was where Pope John Paul II said Mass on the 29th of September 1979. Over 1.3 million people turned up in the park that day, and that represented over a third of the total population of the Republic at that time. Now we're approaching a roundabout. This is called the Phoenix Roundabout. You'll see the phoenix bird rising from the ashes at the top. Now some people think that the park was named after the bird, but it wasn't in fact. The park was named after two Irish words, Frinishka, that means clear water. And over the years that was anglicised to Phoenix. The big white entrance here now on your left-hand side is the entrance into the US Ambassador's residence, and the name of the house is Deerfield.
It's the US Ambassador's house.
Now we're going to go completely around this roundabout and go back down the other side. You keep looking up to your left-hand side here now. That's Chesterfield Avenue as far as the eye can see. The big white entrance in here now on your left-hand side is the entrance into Áras an Uachtaráin. Áras an Uachtaráin is the home of the Irish President. Our ninth President of Ireland was a Galway man, or is a Galway man I should say. Michael D. Higgins is his name. President Higgins was only inaugurated last November, and this will be his home with his wife Sabrina for the next 7 years. Now they took over from Mary McAleese.
President stays in office for 8 years here.
So she lived in the Phoenix Park here for 14 years.
Wow. I'm
going to pull in down here on the left-hand side and let you have a look at what we can see of the presidential house. Now this is the back of the house that you're going to be looking at now. And if you look between the first two columns on the left-hand side, upstairs, you'll see a light. Right in the middle of the window. This light is known as the Candle of Peace. This light was lit by our very first lady president, a lady by the name of Mary Robinson. And she lit that light to welcome home all Irish immigrants. There is an old tradition here in Ireland, particularly in fishing families, that when the men would go to sea, a light would be lit
big party here
and not put out until they all returned home safely. When Mary McAleese took over, she rededicated that light for peace all over Ireland, which thankfully we do have today.
And there's a lot of people.
And here on your left-hand side now, are the polo grounds, used extensively throughout the polo season. And now we're making our way down to what I think is the biggest visitor attraction here in the city. It's Dublin Zoo. Dublin Zoo is the third oldest zoo in Europe after London and Paris. Dublin Zoo is very well known for its breeding of lions. Now you do all know one of the lions that was bred here in the park. His name was Carver, and he's the lion that roars at the beginning of all the MGM films. Now if anybody's going to visit Dublin Zoo at any stage while you're here, please don't forget to show them the bus ticket to avail of the discount on the admission price, and do allow a minimum of 2 hours to go around Dublin Zoo. Dublin Zoo is on a 70-acre site, and there's over 600 species of animal, bird and reptile, all looked after by a very dedicated staff of 22 zookeepers. For obvious reasons, we are not permitted to stop along here. Dublin Zoo is just down there to your left-hand side. Nice little tea rooms also there on your left, and if you look down into the hollow, there is an old bandstand.
Yep.
Now coming up just behind the railing here on your left-hand side is an area known as the People's Park. It's the only place in the Phoenix Park where they deliberately plant flowers and shrubs. It's the only place in the Phoenix Park that the deer have no access to, and that's done deliberately, because some of these flowers and shrubs could actually be poison to the deer. This is our stop on the Phoenix Park if everybody is getting off. If you do get off, you must return to here to get back onto your bus. And the bus should come into the Phoenix Park about every 15 minutes or thereabouts. Nobody getting off? That's fine. We will continue on, so. Looking diagonally over through the trees there on your left, you'll see a Georgian building designed and built by the Georgian architect James Gandon. And this is the headquarters of the Defence Forces here in Ireland. The Army, the Navy, the Air Corps, and of course the Volunteer Army, the FCA. And now we're making our way back to the entrance to the park. As we get a little bit closer, you'll notice that there's no pillars, that there are 4 pillars,
People look
4
like they're gonna
entrances,
freeze
but
their
there are
ass
no
off out here
gates.
tonight.
The gates were taken down to accommodate huge crowds pouring into the Phoenix Park for the Eucharistic Congress in 1932. When the time came for them to put the gates back up again, whoever
Free
had put them away
concert.
had done such a fantastic job
Whatever
that the
it
gates
is.
still haven't been found.
And there's a lot of people going there.
Man, that's a long way to walk.
Yeah, it is. About a 4-mile walk in there.